We have arrived. This is Route 941, brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe.
This is Dennis. Glad you're riding shotgun with me as we travel our region to find the best in local country music. Laurie Leblanc is known to many, yet there's still many in our region that have yet to hear his voice. His career started off in the Francophone community, but the Anglophone community wasn't long in finding out about this maritime treasure and that smooth, golden voice of his. He's had numerous awards and nominations, and that alone shows that he's well loved and respected by true music lovers. Tonight we're going to Bouctouche. Please say hello to Laurie Leblanc. Laurie, welcome to Route 941 on Country 94.
Hey, how are you doing, Dennis? Quite the introduction there.
Well, I think you kind of deserve it, my friend.
Thanks, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You know what? When I look back at all the awards and nominations that you've had, which we're going to list here in just a moment, I get the feeling that music is just about as important to you as it is to me.
Well, obviously, music is something that you just, it's from the inside, I guess. I've always been singing since I was, really small, listening to parents and grandparents' country music and influence and stuff, and decided to get into it, more and more until I get to it full time, and just enjoying it, trying to get past this pandemic thing, but everything's going good. We're not complaining.
Oh, that's awesome, Laurie. Now, being that you're from such a music-rich community, I can imagine it didn't take long for music to really get into your blood, did it?
No. Again, like you mentioned, I've been doing music, solo since 2010, about 11 years, and being Acadian, I've been doing lots of Francophone stuff in Maritimes and Quebec and a little bit of Europe. And I grew up listening, my parents were, Johnny Cash and Charlie Pride or whatever. And I grew up in the 90s. So, I love everything that's 90s, Alan or Mark or Brad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I listen to the new stuff too today. And then there's a lot of stuff that is really good there too. So I guess I'm doing a little bit of what I call between yesterday and today, I guess. But it's a mixture of everything there from the 90s to today, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome. It's all good stuff to be combined into. And in order for you to write and record a song, it has to feel authentic. It has to feel like it's something that you want to put your name on. And therefore, it's got to be true to you.
I would say so. I need to connect to the song. I need to, either the story, the melody. Always trying to evolve a little bit too. I don't want to repeat what I've done, although from one album to the next, I sort of can tell that it's my sound. I guess it's a mixture of all that.
Now let's talk about some of the awards that you've gotten. Now you've recorded 7 albums, and since 2011, you've racked up 35 Canadian Francophone Country Gala nominations. That's incredible. 20 Music New Brunswick Award nominations, as well as 11 Josie Music Award nominations, and that's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That's a lot of awards, my friend.
I've been fortunate and lucky, really. I again started out with the first album, didn't know what it was going to do, and the Francophone country throughout Canada has been really nice, and it's so rewarding to just do what you love and do it full time. My wife is my full time manager now for a few years, so we're doing this full time, and everything's been good. And as far as going to the English side, I would always wanted to do something when the time was right, I guess, too.
That's great, Laurie. Now, tell me, what was it like for you to travel as far as Europe with all the touring that you've done in support of your own music?
Well, that was good, actually. I went there in fall 2019 before the pandemic. I went out there in eastern France. I guess a tour that I won at the Canadian Francophone Awards in Montreal.
Right.
And I did a show with the guy, of course, now he gave me 6 songs off my album, Don Mescall. And he was closing out the show in eastern France. And then he just, we talked and asked me if I wanted some songs. I went there for about a couple of weeks, did some shows and a little bit of promotion and stuff. So that went really well. That's sort of when the start of the album, When It's Right, It's Right, took effect and began too.
It seems you've worked with a couple of really important and really great Dons. The first one, of course, is Don Schlitz, and he wrote a song for you called The Bigger the Better. Now, Don also wrote The Gambler for Kenny Rogers, as well as 40-Hour Week for Alabama, and some songs for Randy Travis as well. Tell me about Don Mescall.
He's a great writer. He wrote, for Lone Star, Backstreet Boys. There's a song that he co-wrote called Live Long Rock and Roll, which Paul McCartney sings on a couple of years ago too. So he's a great writer, and he sang me like 30 demo songs out of his studio and stuff. And I ended up choosing 6, including the song When It's Right, It's Right, which was the title of the album. A really nice guy, and just doing this stuff, just writing full tilt, and it just started right there for the album, I guess.
Now, when someone like Don Mescall, who's written for so many great people, when he says that he's got a number of songs for you, how do you actually go through the process process of weeding them out and finding out which ones are right for Laurie Leblanc to record?
It was, I did a first English album 6-7 years ago in Nashville, which is a cover album, and I enjoyed that. And this is the first all-original album, and I've written tons of French songs, but not too many English songs. So he sent me about 25 songs, and I ended up, listening to a lot of them, 5 or 6 I liked. And I got over 300 demos from different writers, from mainly the States, I guess. And some I can tell in 10 seconds. Some, it's just either too pop for me or the feel, or too aggressive, or maybe even too sad. I don't know, but it's just a connection of whatever is happening as far as feel and story. And if I can see myself singing it, and of course, will people connect to it too? So.
Yeah, that's really important. The connection for you and connection for the listener.
When you're doing it full time, I sort of want to please myself. I heard Blake Shelton do an interview, and he said, if we can please myself and please the mass, everybody's happy. You got to watch out for liking it, but at least people like it too. So. And
you stay true to yourself while doing so.
That's right. Yeah, that's the most important thing, and try not to get out of your element, or not out of what's not you, I guess, too much.
Now, your new album is called When It's Right, It's Right, and it was recorded by Jason Berry of the Dean Brody Band, and he also used the musicians for the Dean Brody Band too. How was that?
Great. I was really lucky. I've heard about him. Lauren talked about him, but he was in Ontario, and I ended up contacting him, and he said, I was ready to go to Ontario, and he uses Dean's boys, the Brodios, quite a bit there. And I said, sure, we'll go there for a few weeks or whatever. And he said, guess what? I'm originally from Miramichi, and thinking of moving up there, building a studio up there. So he ended up moving here in June, and that 3-story studio he's got in Miramichi. It's an hour away from my house.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was just, the timing was just great. In September, we went there for 4 days or something, flew down the Brody guys from Ontario and did the whole album. So he was like, he's only an hour away. It's crazy. So yeah, it was a great guy, genius, award winner, very humble, very knows what you're looking for, and he's quite the guy.
I've only heard good things about Jason Berry, and I've yet to shake his hand, but I hope to do that, before too long. He's another one of our own from our region that's done some great things, and he's gracious enough to hold the door open for all the others and welcome them in as well.
It's he's not a guy that talks much about what he's done, but sometimes I'll text him and I say, hey, can we do this, or you have time to do this? He said, yeah, as soon as I'm done working for Disney, or as soon as I'm done working for Netflix. So he's got like a 3-story studio. The upstairs is just working for the CMT and Disney or whatever else, but he's won so many awards, but he's just grounded and such a nice guy, family guy.
So tell me the story behind your latest single, I've Never Known.
Well, that's the song that Don sent me. He co-wrote with Mike Reed, and as soon as I heard it, I liked it. It was just so well written. It's a story like of a first love, and we sort of saw myself and my wife Janet in the song. So out of everything he sent me, that was one of them we decided to put on the album. And when we recorded the song with the guys at Brodios there, we just listened to the result, and Jason said that must be one of the best tracks we've ever recorded. So they turned out the lights in the studio, and we listened to it one more time. So everybody was really happy with the way it turned out, the feel of it and the flow. And of course, I did my best what I could do for vocals, but it's really, and then of course, because it was such a special song for us, we decided to release it on our 20th anniversary, which was last May 18th. So we shot the video. My wife was in the video, and it was just sort of a special thing too.
That's fantastic, Laurie. I watched the video earlier today, and it's so nicely done. It suits the song perfectly, and it looked like the two of you, you and your wife Jeanette, had a great time doing the video.
Well, thanks. It's nothing fancy, but it's just something that a company out here did for us, and my wife sort of had the whole storyline and said, what do you think of this? And we could have fun with it. And she was pretty shy on the camera. She did a good job. She's not a camera person. She does all the management, right? Yeah, she did a good job.
She sure did. It looked like a great time. Table set nicely, string lights, lobster in a beautiful spot.
We built the camp last year in the woods, right beside my father-in-law's land, along a little brook there. And she said, I picture the table there and lobster and lights and everything. So we did that, and I'm just going up to the camp.
That was beautiful. It's such a personal song for you and for Jeanette that you said you had to try and hit the notes. But what I'm hearing in it is it's so effortless and so sincere. It must have just been beautiful when Jason turned off the light when you were listening back to it for the first time. That had to be a real special goosebump moment for you all.
Yeah, we were, and my wife was there, sitting on the 4 or 5 days we were out there, and myself being this is first all original album and surrounded by the Dean Brody's guys that I've never met before. Now they're great, they're friends and stuff, but that was like a first time thing. So there was a little bit of nerves in there too. But to see that we were happy, and to see that when the guys that do that all the time say something like that, that means, wow, they must be happy about what they've done. I was really happy, of course.
Oh yeah, and that's the highest praise from a bunch of guys that know exactly what they're doing day in, day out.
One guy just told me, he said, if you surround yourself with the best and you do your best, well, sometimes you might attain something close to the best.
That's a good word. I'm going to write that one down. Laurie, where can our listeners find your music?
Everything's on laurieleblanc.com. All the platforms, from Spotify, iTunes, or whatever. And YouTube channel, from TikTok to Facebook to Instagram, they can just check out what's happening. And we have a Monday Live happening every Monday night. We go live on our medias there. We were actually nominated for Innovative Artist of the Year at the ECMAs because of that. We're trying to connect with the fans. So, we really have, from 5,000 to 10,000 people, tuning in and stuff. So we're there too. And other than that, it's all about the website. We're doing shows a little bit across the province. Not too many, 5 or 6 this year from eastern here, closer to Moncton, and then up north in the rodeo in St. Quentin there. We're doing a show in late August. But next year is going to be crazy busy. It's all of 2020 shows that have been re-signed for 22, so it's going to be a crazy year, which is good.
Well, for a musician that does it professionally, a crazy year, it's a very welcome thing. We wish you all the best, Laurie. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me tonight on Route 941.
Well, thank you again, Dennis. See you next time.
From his 2020 album, When It's Right, this is Laurie Leblanc with I've Never Known on Country 94.
I have waited in the fields, neath the universe of stars, and watched the silver moon sail across the night. And I have heard the promise in the river's silent song, and found a simple faith in every morning light. But when you laid your body down and you gave your love to me, together everlasting kiss, that's when I thought, I've never known, I've never known, never known anything like this. I've seen heaven on the mountains, from the valley far below, where the Father's healing waters gently flow. And when I got down on my knees, crying mercy, mercy please, I felt my spirit fly the moment I let go. And when you laid your body down and you gave your love to me, together in one everlasting kiss, that's when I thought, I've never known, I've never known, never known anything like this. And if life is just a moment, and true
Thanks for riding with me as we check our region to find the best in local, original country music. Come back again next week and I'll feature another artist. Route 941 is brought to you by the world's greatest shoe store, Greenlee Shoe and Country 94.